Hello? Hello, this is Lady D, coming to you live at KAZ, Radio TV Network. Welcome to What's Going On with Lady D today. I'm your host, Lady D. Join us every Thursday. Well, welcome to What's Going On with Lady D. I'm your host. Today we have a wonderful guest in the house, and her name is Erica Beacon. She is from Murtis Taylor Human Service Center, right here located on Kinsman Avenue in Cleveland, Ohio. Welcome to the show, Erica. How you doing?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Excellent, excellent. Well, we are so happy to have you here because Murtis Taylor is doing some wonderful things in our community today.
Yes.
So before we jump into Murtis Taylor, I want you to give our audience a little bit of something about yourself. Where are you from?
Well, thank you for having me first and foremost. I was born and raised right here in Cleveland, Ohio. I am a mother of 3 beautiful children. I recently got married last year. I am a mental health social worker, and I just love helping people. I have a heart for the people.
That is so awesome because it takes special type of people like yourself to perform that job, and we need it because we're faced with it quite frequently now these days.
That is true.
So may I ask, what is going on with mental health?
I think in our community as a whole, especially our African American community and our culture, it's a stigmata for mental health. So when you say the word mental health, a lot of people kind of push it to the side. It's not fully being addressed, which it should be addressed. So, like I always tell people, it's not just anxiety, it's just not depression. You have people who have bipolar 1, bipolar 2, schizophrenia, and some people do walk around with no medication. You have some people, what they classify as high functioning, people who struggle with mental health. And a lot of times they don't like to be labeled. And when they become of age, especially an adult, you can't force them to take their medication. So I think, especially in our community as African American, it's not fully addressed. But I also think that it's a stigmata like, oh my God, if I'm diagnosed with having a mental health illness, I'm going to be labeled when that should not be the case.
Yes, because I can recall, it was always something that was kept quiet in our homes,
Right.
because they would label it, but the word mental health wasn't there.
Yes.
And so sometimes it could be an embarrassment to the family, of having a sibling or someone like that. So I want to ask you, what inspired you to get in this field?
Very good question. I have to just, my late uncle, Kenneth Hughes, he started at the United Way. He was one of the founders, helped found First Call 211 for help. He was a social worker. And he inspired me. I watched what he did. He also went to the Lakeside Men's Shelter. He was at the city mission. And when he passed, it was so many of the men from the city mission and Lakeside that came to his funeral and spoke. We didn't know as a family what an impact he really had on the city of Cleveland.
Wow.
We did not know that. until the day of his funeral. So when I saw that, I've always had a heart of helping people. And I used to be a nurse many years ago.
Okay.
But I wanted to do something more to really help our community.
Right.
So I thought about going to school to become a social worker and get on that path. But he was one of my biggest motivations, God rest his soul. And I know if he was alive today, he would be so happy and so proud of me.
I'm happy and proud of you too because
Thank
you
you.
do amazing work. You share a lot of wonderful resources.
Yes.
My family, we had to call on you, and you were truly amazing helping us with our grandchildren through the adoption and fostering programs and giving us that different resources that can help us
Yes,
going
ma'am.
through times that were just truly unexpected.
Yes.
So I want to ask you, so what are the significant changes you have faced and how have you overcame them?
That is a very good question. A couple of years ago in 2016, 2017, I almost lost my life. I was very sick. At the time, I was diagnosed with having what they call idiopathic endocranial hypertension. So that's a huge word.
Yes, and I'm going to ask you, so now what does that mean in layman terms?
Absolutely. So what that is I had fluid pressure built up on my brain.
Okay.
And I had brain and spinal fluid leaking from my left nasal cavity through my nasal. And the pressure was so bad, a migraine and a sinus headache had nothing on what I was enduring.
My.
And with that being said, G80 and G81 at the Cleveland Clinic down here downtown was my second home. It was really bad to the point where I ended up contracting bacterial meningitis. But before I came down with bacterial meningitis, the only way that they could check the elevated fluid pressure on my brain is I had to have a spinal tap. So I had a total of 9 spinal taps. That was the only way for them to check the pressure. So the last spinal tap, I contracted bacterial meningitis and I went into cardiac arrest. And at the time, I was staying with my parents in Twinsburg. And from Twinsburg all the way down here is far.
Right.
But that night, I slept in my clothes. I woke up 1 o'clock in the morning and it felt like somebody had doused me with gasoline on my body. And all I could do was crawl up the steps and all I could get out was, "Mommy, help." My mother knew that I was in trouble. So her, my dad, and my uncle, they helped put me in my mom's truck. My mother drove like 80 miles an hour from Twinsburg down here to the Cleveland Clinic. And the doctors told my mom if she hadn't have got me there in the time that she did, I would have passed away.
My goodness.
Yeah.
Wow. But see, God ain't finished with you yet.
No,
He
he
just
is
getting
not.
started.
No, yes, right. Yes, he is.
So you have a true testimony here.
Yes, ma'am.
That is just awesome. I do want to ask you, so what has been I wanted to say what's your biggest achievement, but that is a great achievement.
Yes.
To just go through what you've been through and look at you today.
All glory to God.
Oh, thank you, God. Thank you, God. So now I want to ask you, so how do you stay motivated when you're in the field of work that you do? Because it can be very challenging.
It can. I'm an ordained minister,
Okay.
so I stay prayed up. And one of the things that I have always learned to do is you have to learn in the line of social work, you have to learn how to separate. And what that means is you can't bring that home with you.
Right.
You can't save and help everybody as much as we would like to, but you have to learn how to separate. And if you don't know how to separate, you can take that into your home. So every day I just rinse off. I rinse off. I take a deep breath and I just relax. I meditate. I stay in my word. And that's how I deal with the difficult days that I may have, because every day is not going to be a good day. You know, if I had it my way, especially with the nonprofit agencies and everything that's going on in the world today, if it was up to me, it'd be never unlimited funding for everybody. Because in this line of work, you are seeing it more and more every day. People are in need. Families are struggling, and you will be surprised. A lot of people don't want to reach out for help because, like you said, the pride.
Yes.
My family may look at me different, but this is what I tell people, the ones that I know that really need the help. This is a non-judgment zone. If there's anything that I could do to help, I have the resources. Let me give them to you so I can help you.
Yes.
That's important.
It is. And when we take these jobs, we are providing a service.
Yes.
So if you're going to get into that field, be true to it.
Yes.
Because like you say, you can't be judgmental
Right.
toward your fellow man.
That's correct.
Because one day the shoe could be on the other foot and it could be you.
Okay.
So you're going to need someone to be there.
Oh, yes.
Now we're going to talk about this wonderful event that is coming up. It is Thriving Together Health Fair
Yes.
2025
Yes, it
that
is.
Murtis Taylor is going to be
Yes.
having. Let's talk about that.
Yes. So we are very, very, very excited. We have this every year. It's always a 2-day event.
Okay.
Both events are going to be at our Mount Pleasant location. We are super excited. We are going to have Robert Johnson, who is the king of line dance here in Cleveland, Ohio. And our seniors. If anybody has ever been down to our Mount Pleasant location, that is where the seniors are mainly. The seniors have have practiced boots on the ground, line dance, and they have been practicing. And from what I was told, they are ready to show off their moves.
Okay.
So we are excited, and it's more so also too to bring the community together, to bring the awareness back to the community, to let them know, hey, Murtis Taylor has been around for years, but we are still here. We are still kicking it. We are still thriving. We are still here to help better the community. So we're excited.
So now what day will this be? What's the date for the event and the time?
It is I stand corrected, April the 11th from 10 a.m. to 3 o'clock.
Okay.
And then the next one is April the 25th, same time, same location.
Okay. So who can attend this health fair, and do people have to register in advance?
No registration is required, and it is open to the public. There is no age cap. There is no limit. We're going to have fun, food, giveaways, prizes. We are just wanting everybody to come out, get what you need, get your resources, get something in your belly, come dance a little bit. We're super excited.
And of course, I have to ask this question. So now, is there a cover charge for all of this?
There is no cover charge.
All right. Something free for our community.
Absolutely.
Murtis Taylor giving back
Yes.
to the community.
That's
and I
it.
like that.
That's what it's about.
Yes, it's about bringing the families together.
Yes.
Bring your children out.
Yes.
You don't have to be a senior to come to this.
That's correct.
Just come
out
and bond together.
and bond together.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So now I want to ask you, what are what is the major health concerns facing the minority in the communities today?
Diabetes.
Okay.
Diabetes and high blood pressure.
Okay.
Those two are at the top, especially sugar diabetes.
Okay.
We are starting to see that at an all-time high. You have people that know that they are a diabetic, have been told that they're borderline diabetic. And to me, you hear people say, they've been told me I was borderline diabetic.
Okay.
But once you are given that information, what are you doing to correct your eating habit?
Right.
If they're saying that you're borderline and you keep going back to the doctor and your blood levels are still high, it's time to maybe start eating clean, change your diet regimen. Me personally, that's in my family very heavy.
Okay.
They told me that I was borderline diabetic many years ago, and they told me if you don't get it together, your family's going to be burying you. And I'm just like, oh no. And I've actually seen relatives who go to the doctor or they stump their toe, and next thing you know, they're getting stuff amputated off. So I chose to break that cycle. So I've been eating better, eating cleaner, and kind of really taking my health serious because of what I went through many years ago. That was a huge health scare
Yes.
for me, so I said, I'm just change my eating, change my way of life, period. So far so good.
Excellent. Because it is a day-to-day practice.
Yes.
And it's so easy to just reach for something quick, something fast, because society has got us into that
Absolutely.
quick and fast.
Yes.
No preparation.
Right.
And we eat everything and we don't read the labels.
Yeah, that's another huge thing. That is so huge. And believe it or not, they have apps that you can download when you're in the grocery store. If you scan the label, it can tell you if the product is good, how many calories, how many nutrients, how many fats and stuff that are in there. So that helped me. So you just have to watch what you eat. That's important.
And it's also, I find that it's good to know what your body, what deficiencies that you have as far as your vitamin intake, because a lot of times, of course, you go to the store and you buy all these different vitamins because you think you're trying to be healthy, but you may not even need that type of vitamin.
Correct.
So it's always good when you go to the doctor
Yes.
to ask them.
That's important.
Get that checked
Yeah.
when you do your blood, because I know I just did it.
Yeah.
And today, and I want to, do Murtis Taylor take in patients?
Yes, they
Let's
do.
talk about this facility a little bit more. What do they offer there?
So we offer a variety of things. So at the Mount Pleasant location, which is on Kinsman,
Okay.
that is our clinical site. And what I mean by clinical site, that's where all of our doctors, that's where all of our social workers and our psychiatrists, that's where our pharmacy is. So most of our referrals that we get, they come in from the Cuyahoga County Division of Children and Family Services.
Okay.
So when we get these referrals from the county, it lists things that the family needs.
Okay.
So whether if that's basic needs for food, mental health, domestic violence, whatever is checked on that box, we have to resource them in to help them with what they need. Most of the time, we have to resource out with some of the other nonprofit agencies that we are partnering with to
Okay.
basically wrap our services around what the family needs.
That's great. That's great. And so now, will these doctors be available at this event? Will they be given out?
Yes, they will be. We have handouts. They will be there. They can ask questions. We are very excited about this health fair. Very
People can
excited.
get tested for different
Yes,
things?
that is correct.
That is really good. So now, because I'm just concerned about the free health screenings.
Yes.
Will that be available to the
Yes.
public?
Yes.
As well?
Yes.
Yeah, that'll be good. That's very good. Now, will there be any workshops or special speakers at this event?
Good question. We are going to have a certified licensed vegan chef,
Okay.
and they are going to put on a food demonstration. And I know last year we had a chef, but she was not a vegan chef. But this year we are having a licensed vegan chef that will be doing some cooking, and everybody will be able to taste the difference, how important it is to eat clean. So we are very super excited about that. And then we also have Tai Chi. They will also be doing a full demonstration for Tai Chi classes. as well.
Beautiful.
Yes, ma'am.
I enjoy Tai Chi. I do
Yeah.
it on Monday nights with Ishmael
Okay.
up at the Umbar. And
Wow.
it's very relaxing.
It is.
And you get to stretch and just
Yeah.
learn how to learn your body at a,
Yeah.
slow, because we're always on the go,
Yes.
so that is really, really
Yeah.
good. And then they're getting this exercise with the Dance King
Oh,
himself.
yes. And when he comes, the seniors, they come out. They come out.
Yes, yes. I think it's beautiful that our seniors are staying active.
Yes. Yes.
Because I know if you don't move your body, you're going to die.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
And yeah.
and you have to move because we have been programmed to getting up in the morning,
Right.
going to work, doing all these things.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you retire, if you don't have some type of extra activities,
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
the body has been conditioned.
That's right, and you gotta keep on moving. And it's when I see the seniors do the line dance, sometimes I just sit back and I just smile because I think the oldest one that we have is like in her mid-80s, and she doesn't even look like it. And she gets out there, and it's just like, wow, I want to be like that. Let me
Yeah.
get that old and still be able to have it and move and be
Yes.
healthy.
Yeah, because I look at the seniors, I go to the Y, and they are so motivating to me to see
Yeah.
them in the shape they are, and they just
Yeah.
keep going at it, and they look good,
Yes.
And let's talk about this clean eating.
Mm-hmm.
When you say clean, what does that mean for our listeners?
Yes.
Because some of them don't understand what clean. They might think greens and macaroni and cheese and dressing and yams is clean.
No. So when we say clean eating, that means cutting out all sugar, all bread, all pasta, vegetables, fish. You can juice, but anything that has sugar, and I had to learn that when I used to go see my dietitian. She said anything that has sugar in it, that's not a part of clean. So now I understand why Whole Foods grocery store is
Yes.
so important.
Yes.
I understand why people juice, because you have some people that do like a watermelon and they'll say, oh, I'll just do the seedless watermelon. It still has sugar in it. So I really had to learn that. So anything that has sugar, teas, they have sugar, grapes have sugar. You can do a salad. And see, I love salad. So I used to do grapes, ham, turkey, eggs, ranch dressing, 3 different types of cheeses. And my dietitian said, that's not healthy. And I said, what do you mean? She said, take off the meat, take off the cheese, take off the grapes, do flaxseed. And I'm like, that is not a salad. She said, and add the chickpeas. I said, are you kidding? She said, yeah. And she said, change your dressing. She said, do balsamic vinaigrette with the oil base. And I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yeah,
That's the clean eating.
yeah.
And it's a process.
It is.
It is a process, and it takes discipline.
Well, because when you've been on it for so long, your body craves
Yeah.
that sugar.
Yes.
Okay, I know because I deal with it. I'm not I enjoy it, but now that I'm doing this clean eating,
Yeah.
after I eat, I'm like, I got to taste for something sweet. Just a cookie, just a bite, because the crave is there. But then I notice if I drink plenty of water, it flushes it out and it goes away.
Yes.
So it's just momentarily.
Absolutely.
So it's like a man over matter thing.
That's it.
Yes.
That part.
Yes, man over matter. Yes, indeed. So I want you to tell our listeners again the date and time of this wonderful event so they can come out and have a
Absolutely.
great time.
Absolutely. Well, our health fair event for Murtis Taylor will be April the 11th from 10 a.m. to 3 o'clock. Then we are having a second one on April the 25th from 10 to 3 o'clock at our Mount Pleasant location on Kinsman Avenue.
That is truly great. Now I have this last question for you, and I want to ask, how can local businesses, health professionals, and the community organizers get involved in supporting this event?
They can reach out. There is a link. My email address, I think, is on the flyer. They can either send me an email address and we can connect and communicate. We do have a booklet that is out on our website that lists all of our names. So if they want to register for the event or to be more so a vendor,
Okay.
then they can communicate and then we can send the link out. So there is a link that's on the flyer. If it's not on the flyer, it's on our Facebook page. If you click that link, you fill out the page and it'll come to either me or my supervisor, and then they could become a vendor at either event.
Do you mind giving them your email and the phone
Absolutely.
number to Murtis Taylor?
Absolutely. My email address is ehughes@murtistaylor.org. My company cell phone with the area code is area code 216-972-5019. If you are interested in being a vendor or just to come out, please stop by and come and get what you need. We are looking forward to servicing the community.
And the address to Murtis Taylor, for those who are not familiar with the April 11th,
Yes.
12th.
Yes, it is 10211 Kinsman Avenue in Cleveland, Ohio.
And that's going to be the time from 10 to 2?
10 to 3 o'clock.
10 to 3 o'clock.
That is correct.
All right, so come on out, get healthy, get some information, get your free screenings, and just make this a fun family day event in our community, because we have to do this together.
Yes, we do.
And that's what's going on today.
I was at God's Miracle Temple on 104th and Union. Pastor Clovis Ramsey, one of her armor bearers.
Thanks for watching. Join us every Thursday, and you too can be a guest straight from KAZ Radio Podcast Studio.
They're at the church next door.
Oh, okay.
Because I know y'all use each other's parking lot.
Yeah, yeah. If I see him, it's so many people that work for Murtis.
Well, he doesn't work for Murtis Taylor.
Okay. He's at the church next door.
He's the pastor of the church.
Okay.
He's right on top of the church. So you can't-
Okay.
But you guys are you guys are doing. Murtis Taylor's been around, man.
A long
I'm
time.
telling you, I remember, God, I was a teenager when